podcast is brought to you by Table Rock Creative Group. If you need video for your business, these are my guys. These are my guys.
This is Midnight Drive-In. Enjoy the show.
Nazi punks! Nazi punks! Nazi punks! Nazi punks! Nazi punks! All right. Woo! Welcome to the Midnight Drive-In.
Garrick, I have something to say.
What?
That is, there's nothing wrong with the movie Rhinestone. I'm just saying, that's a quality film.
Isn't that Dolly Parton?
Hell yeah, it is.
I like
You like that?
Hell yeah. Yeah. No, I like the movie Rhinestone.
Isn't it? It's Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton.
Oh yeah.
Hey, at least you're listening.
Oh yeah.
He's listening.
At least it might just be me, but
Rhinestone or Ghostbusters? Let me see. Which one? What was it? Well, the other one I could have used was the week before that. And I can't remember exactly what it was now, but man, it was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, Rhinestone or Ghostbusters? How many morons that weekend went and saw Rhinestone instead of Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters was the first movie I saw in the theater as a little kid.
Really?
Yep. The Cinema 4, which is now an empty parking lot.
Yeah, they're all empty parking lots. The two theaters that I spent my whole life going to, both parking lots now gone. Yep. Carmike 4, the Terrace. We called it the Terrace.
What's the Terrace? Yeah.
And the Crown Cinema.
Yep. I spent some time at the Carolina.
Oh yeah, Carolina is still kicking.
And I'm glad it's still there, but yeah.
In fact, Mark, you went to the Carolina yesterday, right? Watched.
I did. I saw A Star Is Born.
Yeah. Good.
I loved it. The music was fantastic. I don't know what Doug is shaking his head for.
His head bigger.
Because Doug hates everything.
Lady Gaga is one of the most talented people I've ever seen. And Bradley Cooper can sing.
And Bradley Cooper can direct, too.
And Sam Elliott was awesome in this movie.
Did he say Nazi punk? Nazi
He did
punk?
not.
Arkham! Nazi punk! Nazi punk!
Off to a really good start.
It's a good movie, though.
It is a good movie. Yeah.
Great.
Will you be seeing A Star Is Born, Doug?
No.
I feel sorry for you, Doug.
You should. I mean, at some point, it might make a...
Jody will bring it home.
Yeah, and I'll put it on.
And I'll get a text
for 15 minutes, and I'll say, "Oh my god, this is fucking ridiculous! I'm not watching this. I don't care, like talent. You get paid to sing. I don't care. It's you didn't just get discovered. You've been an act for 10 years. Like, put somebody else in that role, and maybe I would care. You know."
Did you see any good movies?
I just rewatched older stuff. I rewatched the first 3 Lethal Weapons, and I got the Blu-ray box set for $10.
Damn.
And
what about the Tommy Lee Jones film that you sent me?
oh yeah, that pirate movie.
Yes.
Oh
Did you make it through it?
yeah,
Okay,
I saw it
right.
probably when I was like 7 on TV.
Right.
And like a month ago, I have not thought about it since then. And I was like sitting at home, and all of a sudden, just random thought popped in. I was like, "What the hell was the name of that pirate movie with Tommy Lee Jones I saw when I was a kid?"
Because I didn't know it.
No.
I'd never seen it.
I Google it, and it's DVDs that put out on DVD like 10 years ago. And then, because I guess I'd searched for it, I got an alert, a reduced copy on eBay. It was a few bucks, so I bought it.
What's the name of it?
It's called Nathan Hayes. And it was a New Zealand movie that just had an almost completely American cast. And what's the name of the guy from Caddyshack who was the young kid who was the caddy?
Not a clue.
Anyway.
Google it.
And it's the characters. Noonan. Yeah, Noonan. Yeah, Noonan.
He's in it?
Yeah, he's Nate. He's the second lead.
He's the kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it looks like a huge movie. Because I looked up the...
Production was?
It was $7 million in 1982 in New Zealand dollars.
That's a lot back then.
Yeah, a lot back then. And it was, it's entertaining. It bears the story-wise, bears a striking resemblance to the first Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm not saying anybody saw it, but it's just, I think it's a pirate movie. How different is it going to be? But it was entertaining.
Cool.
I don't know when I'll watch it again, but
Another
Yep.
30 years, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
You saw a bunch of stuff.
I did see some things.
I might have gandered.
I watched a couple of.
You saw the kill list, I'll bet.
I haven't seen the kill list. We're not gonna get into that.
Right.
Yeah, go to the website. I did not post it last week. I have been busy.
No wonder the fucking numbers are down, Garrett. So what I watched a couple of lead picks. I watched American Animals and I watched The Death of Stalin. They were both really, really cool, man. I mean, they're completely different movies. American Animals is like a pseudo documentary where it's the actual people involved in this crime were filmed and interviewed, and then you've got the actors playing it out. And I really, really liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. That guy will get to make another movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
He had done like another.
He done like two documentaries, The Imposter and another one that I can't remember.
And I think in one of them it was kind of shot the same way, where he had actors and then he had the real people. Evan Peters from American Horror Story was in it. What's his name? Barry Keoghan?
Something like that.
Keoghan?
Yeah.
They were a couple of the kids that had gotten involved in this art heist. It's about being 19, 20 years old and seeing a line and knowing that you shouldn't cross that line and saying fuck it and crossing it anyway.
Yeah.
And then the repercussions are not imaginary. I mean, it's real. They all went to prison.
But they're hubris, basically. It's
Right.
Like they're 18-year-old and they think they're invincible.
Yeah, like everybody did.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I identified with it so much. It's like, if I would have been wrapped up in something like that at that time of my life, shit, I would have tried to steal that fucking painting, But just the way it was done, I appreciated it. I thought it was a cool movie. And Death of Stalin is a really slick black comedy that it's not for everybody, but it was really, really well done. Steve Buscemi and is it Jeffrey Tambor?
Yeah.
Really made it for me. They were both just hilarious. It's just chock full of one-liners, and it's like a couple minutes of hilariousness, and you're like, well, what is this? And then it's the awfulness of
Stalin.
Of the real of what was actually happening during that time. It was.
What I really liked is nobody did a Russian accent.
Nope.
All the British actors have British accents, and the American actors have American accents.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays Stalin has this thick Cockney accent.
Yeah.
And I was watching this documentary about it, and they were
Purposely?
Because since they're all talking English, Stalin was Georgian, and Russians kind of look down on Georgians, and so they were like the Cockney. That's the equivalent of a Russian accent.
Oh, yeah.
Georgians, they're considered like lower class.
They're like
Cockneys
the
are
South.
lower
They're
They're like basically like in Georgia.
the Georgians are from Georgia.
But and it's really it's like people will just get massacred, and then the next 2 minutes later, they're just all standing in a room just talking shit about each other.
Oh, it was cool, man.
And,
I recommend
the
it.
only thing that's really it's almost completely historically accurate, except that when the character that gets killed at the end is killed, he's not killed that day. He was killed like 6 months later.
Right.
And it's if there's a film that the term gallows humor applies to,
right,
this is it. But you know who killed it for me was Jason Isaacs as the general.
He was fantastic.
He's
awesome.
Yeah, he's in a lot of the Harry Potter movies and stuff. Yeah. He plays the head of the Russian army, and he just this guy knows he's the man.
He was the bad guy in The Patriot.
The Patriot, exactly.
Oh, he was awesome in that.
And he's just a chest full of like World War II medals, and they're talking about the guy they're going to betray. And him and Buscemi are talking. He's like, I'm about to report this. You spoke out against a member of the committee, and I will report this. And Buscemi just has this terrified look on his face, like, fuck, I'm going to be executed. He's like, I'm just fucking with you. I took down the Nazis, I can take down these assholes.
Yeah, I got this, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna have to see that.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
I have, do you see anything else?
Yeah.
You gotta mention it.
Really nice. I didn't see anything.
I've seen a fucking shitload of stuff in the last, 6 days?
Yeah.
Hasn't been that long, but I watched quite a bit of it.
Well, just rattle them off and give us a yes or no.
Happy Time Murders.
Yeah?
I really liked a lot of it.
Right.
It's a cool ass idea.
Right.
I'm just not a big Melissa McCarthy fan. You could have put anybody in there.
Have you ever seen Meet the Feebles? It's Peter Jackson's second movie. It's like an X-rated puppet movie, but it's all puppet. There's no humans in it.
This is Brian Henson, the son of Jim Henson, the greatest puppeteer of all time, arguably, or at least in our country.
Yeah.
A couple of...
What you snorting over there, Garrick?
Yeah. There's Maya Rudolph is in this, and Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
Who both of them were great in it. And really...
I love Elizabeth Banks.
Shut your mouth. I would recommend this movie
like my puppet to be in her bath
for really just
water?
one scene in particular. There's a puppet sex scene that is the best fucking thing I've ever seen.
Right.
I was spitting up my drink watching it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it the one in the trailer where he's like, oh, and they're spitting this?
Dude, it's just I lost it, man. It was cool. Yeah. Watch that and
So this is Jim. Well, hold on a second. Jim Henson,
Son.
His son.
So, but I thought that they didn't want that to be at all associated.
Sesame Street didn't want it to be.
Okay.
Which is weird because he makes the puppets for Sesame Street.
Yeah.
So I didn't really.
So basically, he said, "Hey, I'm going to go make this funny other movie."
Yeah.
Even though I'm like the boss at Sesame Street.
Well, he's not though. He just created I guess PBS owns or whoever owns Sesame Street.
Right. So, but they're going to let him do that because
they didn't want them to use the.
They would have fired me.
The tagline I think was all street, no sesame, or something like that.
Right.
And they objected to that. They wanted the poster changed, but they lost because they tried to get a cease and desist, but they lost it.
Yeah, it was.
It
cool,
didn't matter.
Man. I mean, for what it is, I mean, it's a movie with puppets. I mean, what
Right.
what do you
It
want?
tanked at the box office.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not a
Was it
box
ever
office
gonna-
movie.
Yeah,
It's
a genre movie.
Is there a world that was ever going to make $100 million on the Happy Time Murder?
That one should have actually gone straight to DVD, honestly, if they wanted to, save some money.
It'll be the cult classic. It'll be the one that everybody
for sure.
owns
Yeah.
that watch. Hey, let's
Certainly,
get drunk
yeah.
and sit around and watch.
Trust me, there'll be parts in it you won't be able to breathe. You're laughing so hard. And then I watched, on a more serious note, I watched Operation Finale.
With Ben Kingsley. I watched
Ben Kingsley
I wanted
and
to see that.
about Adolf Eichmann and him escaping Nazi Germany to Argentina. And this is like after the Nuremberg trials. This is in 1960 when the Israeli Mossad had been looking for him, and they finally find this guy. And it's a story of how they brought him to justice.
I just saw the previews to that. That looks really good.
Yeah, it was. One thing that was a little odd about it, there were almost too many lighthearted moments in it, if that makes any sense, considering the subject matter. It was like, well, that was weird. Why the fuck are they trying to make light of...
I was watching this interview with some of the actual Mossad guys, and they said he was super nice.
They didn't really know how to deal with it.
Because he said, he's like, I wasn't particularly anti-Semitic. That was just what they ordered me to do. And I was a really good soldier.
Yeah. Well, Inglourious Bastards makes light in a lot of stuff.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Killing Nazis.
But this is supposed to be a...
This is a historic more,
Yeah, this is supposed to be a historically accurate...
Yeah.
But yeah, it was... I recommend it.
Yeah,
it wasn't a bad movie. It was fine. It wasn't particularly long. It was interesting and Kingsley did what he does. He was fantastic in it. So, and then I also watched season 2 of Westworld. Somehow I fit all that in. I don't know. But
Is it good? Is it as good as the first season?
It's okay. Yeah, it's just so weird, man. Yeah. Season 1 was weird as you don't even know what's happening until the last 2 episodes, really.
Yeah,
and then it ties up, and at the end of that, I was like, man, that was fantastic. This is, I'm not sure if there's going to be a season 3 with how they rolled this out. We'll just have to see. I don't know. I haven't looked.
I own the first one. I watched the first season. I have not gotten to the second season. I'm very particular because I have to do. I can't do multiple TV.
You
seasons.
said that.
I have to do one, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know one thing about it. I didn't know it was like it's like when season 1 ends, it's immediately this is when season 2. There's no lag time. It's like the day that season 1 ended, season 2 begins in this, and then it's what happens after that. It's is what it is.
I borrowed Garrick's DVD of The Game with Michael Douglas.
David Fincher's one of my favorite David Fincher films.
That was
It was great.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about that's funny though. It's one of those movies. If it went any slower, you would figure out all the plot holes. But because it works so well,
Because it moves along, you don't sit there thinking, "Wait a minute, this isn't really feasible."
it's almost impossible for them to have been there at that same time. You know.
And it's an interesting role for Sean Penn. It's not a very big role for Sean Penn, but it's a good one.
It's a cool movie.
That's a fantastic movie. That clown is creepy. I'd like to have one of those in my office.
Yeah, put it on.
It's essentially the game is, I guess. Here's this guy who's never really been poor in his life, and he sees his dad die, and his whole attitude on life is he's just the shit, he's just Mr. Big, and then he gets to play this game where I guess it kind of changes your whole perspective on life.
He's coming up, I think, isn't he coming up, it's like his birthday where it's either he's the same age of his dad or, right.
The anniversary of his dad.
Yeah. Yep.
That's killed.
So I wonder what the total bill on that really was.
Really?
Because at the end, he's
because he shows him the check and he says he'll pay half of it.
Yeah, half of it. And he looked at it and he's like, "Is that right?" Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wonder what in real life something like that would cost.
Yeah.
Probably as much as making a film. I mean, it's probably $300,000, $400,000.
Because they probably had to pay all the actors SAG scale,
Suppose they had to pay for that taxi cab.
The taxi cab?
Yeah, trip to Mexico. A lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I got stranded in Mexico and all I got was this lousy shirt.
Yeah.
The shirt he had on.
Yeah. Andrew Kevin Walker write that?
I think so.
Did he? Yeah. That dude is super clever.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He hasn't done. Has he been doing anything lately?
He directed an animated movie that went straight to DVD called Hollywoodland or something. I never saw it, but it looked just.
I heard about Hollywoodland.
It looked very some you and your buddies would animate in your garage, but he either wrote it or directed it. I don't think he's written a movie that's got made since Sleepy Hollow.
Wow, I wonder why, because I liked all his movies.
Oh, yeah.
I like Sleepy Hollow.
I think I know he had a real rough, he did not like 8mm, he didn't like working with Joel Schumacher. And I think Fincher and Tim Burton were the only two guys he actually enjoyed working with.
I know, but why don't actors, it's so funny, because actors or writers, why don't you just pass it off?
Yeah.
Nerdland,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Nerdland. I never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last thing he wrote Panic Room, and then he did Nerdland, and then he did write The Wolfman. That was actually pretty good. I enjoyed.
I liked it.
Yeah, I saw it once, and I did not.
It's an underrated movie, man.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's the last thing. So he has done.
I'm sure he ghost writes all the time. I'm sure there's movies he's written we don't even know about.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, somebody just needing something to. Hey, I need this character beefed up. And
writers can't not write.
Yeah,
he's writing for something.
You know what I watched? I haven't watched it forever. The Color of Money.
Oh, what a good movie!
Dude, I love that.
That last shot when he leans over.
Oh yeah,
I'm back, and he hits the.
Oh, dude, yeah,
that's a good movie. That's one of those Scorsese movies that gets forgotten.
Yeah, well, a lot of people thought he sold out because he did a movie with Tom.
It was the sequel to The Hustler.
Oh, yeah.
The long-awaited sequel to The Hustler.
Yeah.
It's great. Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's all
The Hustler, yeah.
Yeah, man. That was great.
The Hustler, Amos?
That's great. Yeah. I didn't watch anything. I watched one movie. I actually spent this week writing my movie. So,
nice.
Believe it or not, I'm like, well, I could keep watching films so that I can have something to stand up on, or I could just finish this one that's taking way too long. So I've been working on it. I did go to the Morganton Comic-Con. That was so uneventful. It really was.
Yeah, I saw you posted a picture of Jason with your son.
Well, it was Michael, but yes.
Michael, yeah.
Yes, but it's so funny, these things, they've ruined them. Conventions and festivals and all this gift and gab, walks, parades. Mm-hmm. There's 60, there used to, when I was a kid, there was one Comic-Con, it was in San Diego.
Yeah, right. There's one in Charlotte. It's been one in Charlotte.
Okay, a big one, all right, there you go. Travel to Charlotte. Yeah. But it was big and it came once a year. Now they're doing them.
Yeah,
they're doing them every 3 months.
When I was 17 or 18, I went and met Harlan Ellison, the science fiction writer, at the Charlotte Comic-Con. Now there's nobody like that,
Yeah, because there's so many of them.
Did you go to the Hickory Comic-Con. That was a couple.
There's one in Shelby.
It was a couple months ago. I
That's
didn't
what
know.
I'm saying. They're everywhere. No, I actually was.
I went to a Comic-Con in the 70s in San Francisco, and they showed 2001: A Space Odyssey. They were having a screening of it. I remember when we went and sat down there, and we only lasted about 5 minutes watching that movie. We were so bored.
Yeah.
And I still have not seen 2001 all the way through.
Wow. Put that on your list. Believe me.
Yeah,
As an adult, it might be
get
better.
an edible and just not.
It's not gonna hurt. But it's a watch once and then revisit maybe once every 20 years. But it's definitely sit through it, struggle, make yourself.
I was a teenager when I saw it, so I guess.
I saw that when I was 15. I've been like,
I think I tried to watch it when I was 15 or 16 and couldn't. It took several attempts before I got from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Well, I left my credit card at home intentionally.
Good.
I gave it to my wife and said, hold on to this because I know I'll be there and River's going to be there and there's going to be cool stuff. And so I've got $10 in my pocket and we're walking around looking at everything and there's tons of stuff that I would love to buy for the office. My little tink. Didn't do anything. Finally, River did find something that he wanted to get for Christmas, and I was like, all right, well, I'll get it for you now, and we'll put it in your stocking because we won't be able to find it. It was like the It doll, the NECA.
nice.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. It's got different heads, and you can do all this crazy stuff. So, of course, all right, whatever. So I run to the ATM, and I get just enough money to pay for that.
Yeah.
So we're walking out, like, did you get everything you wanted? He said, yes. Last table. Look down. There it is. In all its glory. Terrifier. Blu-ray.
Was it free?
Almost.
Yeah, it should have been.
So back when I wanted you guys to review it, I was looking to find one so that we could maybe just do it as the Midnight Drive-In. And I'm glad we did not.
Yeah, I seen better film on teeth.
So,
Did we review Terrifier?
We did not. You would not have liked it.
We watched it.
So I saw it on Amazon. It was $26. I'm not real sure why.
What? Highway robbery.
Could have been 26 cents, and it arguably would have been a fucking rip-off of that.
And it better become a free shipping.
$26.95. Right? And so now I looking back going, man, I'm glad I did not spend $26.95 on that movie for us to review. However, there it is. And I looked at it and I said, how much you selling that for? I thought for sure he was going to say $40 or something because on Amazon it's $26.
Yeah.
This is a Comic-Con. He said $5. I said $5?
Still too much.
So now you can sell it for $25 on Amazon.
Right. So then I looked at it, and there was this other film called Director's Cut with Teller in it. Adam Rifkin film.
Yep.
Never heard of it. Looked like
Teller of Penn and Teller?
Yeah.
it looked like a midnight. In fact, I've got it right over there. It looks
It's over here.
It's Teller's a psycho who, those things were like, oh, win a trip to the set of your new movie of blah blah. He wins that, but the dude's out of his mind, so he kidnaps the actress who's in the movie and steals the footage, and then with his home video camera edits in him as the hero
To do a director's cut.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it's like a footage of a movie, but then then it cuts, and he's he's shot with her, kidnapped in his house.
So I saw that and thought,
I think it was one of the first movies that got crowdfunded.
we must review.
Yeah.
So I picked it and Terrifier up for $5 each, which was the highlight of the Comic-Con. But yes, Director's Cut. We will have to watch that at some point. What do you think?
I've not seen it.
Nobody's seen it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Terrifier, I'm fine.
Exactly.
But it may be Terrifier.
I promise you it won't be.
I just see Doug just stabbing the Blu-ray and throwing.
If it is, then it's coming out. We won't make it to the end if it's Terrifier. I promise.
Yeah.
If it's Terrifier
That
quality,
shit was atrocious.
yeah, I mean,
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It really
I'd rather
was.
use a home vasectomy kit. Don't sit in that movie.
I mean, I understand what you liked about it, Garrick, and why you were kind of drawn to it. You know, this kind of grassroots, the way that it's made, but it's just not done well.
Yeah.
It's like I read a review, somebody said, I'm sure there's a cool story in Terrifier, I just don't know if this is the guy to tell it. You know, with that clown and everything that happens, it just...
I hate clowns.
Oh, I do too. You
Well,
really
whatever.
hate this.
Anyway, so that was my week. I did nothing. I went to a Comic-Con and I hunkered in front of Final Draft and did 6 more pages.
Nice.
Took a week.
Yeah.
It's killing me. I'm ready to go because I've got 2 more I want to do, and kind of like TV shows, I can't really get to them until I finish this one, so I got to get going. Enough of this crap. I'm getting old. We should make a movie.
Getting old.
Yeah. Speaking of independent films and smaller films nobody's heard of, it's the Midnight Drive-In and the Midnight Drive-In review today.
What did we watch?
The Green Room, the Green Room, the Green Room.
No, it's Nazi, what?
Nazi punk.
Nazi punks.
Nazi punk. Fuck 'em. Nazi punk. Nazi punk. Fuck 'em.
You realize people are supposed to listen to this, don't you?
That's the song in the movie.
Sorta.
That's the main song in the movie.
If anybody could butcher a punk skinhead song, I just did it. Mark and I both.
I think those songs are
Pre-butchered?
butchered, you know.
Pre-butchered.
Pre-cut,
They
yeah.
might have been pre-butchered. Who wants to start us off? Give us the scoop on the Green Room. Here, I'll give you the scoop.
Give us the scoop.
Punk band living out of their van goes to do a show and an interview. The guy that does the interview makes some kind of mistake. They end up at a Mexican restaurant where they don't make any money. So they need gas money to get to DC for their next show. Interviewer calls his brother. Hey, there's this skinhead place, this movement that's having some sort of party, and they need some bands. So, hey, yes, it's skinheads, but you sing punk, so why don't you guys go and make enough gas money to get to DC? Of course, they say, yeah, all right, let's do this. They pull up, and that's when it all goes to... After their set, they stumble across something, and that's what begins the Siege movie.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, I love movies where there's a decision's made, like in American Werewolf in London. You know, they're told to stay on the road. All they have to do is stay on the road. When they start talking and bullshit and laughing, they look down, they are a quarter mile from the road in the grass, and then things change. I love movies where there's like a line in the sand, like if they turn this way, everything's fine. You go this way, it all goes to hell.
Yeah.
And they could have just left that shitty gig at the beginning at the Mexican restaurant, and there's no movie. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I like it a lot.
I did too, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it for a lot of reasons. And like you said with Terrifier, the grassroots, it was so incredibly simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The writing was so incredibly simple.
Yep.
Punk band ends up at a skinhead joint.
Yeah.
Sees a murder. And guess what? They're not going to let them get out.
Nah.
I mean, and that was it.
Once they saw the dead girl, they were never going to.
How is that? But that is the easiest hook ever.
Yep.
I mean, you go into executives, and what's funny is the executives will probably say, "Well, we've seen that movie, yeah, but you haven't seen it this way,
right?
Because we're gonna do it a little bit differently. We're gonna put in we're gonna get Imogene Poots and throw in a lot of blood and
Patrick Stewart. Imogene Poots.
There you go. Sold. How much money do you need for it?
Yeah.
No, I did enjoy it. I thought there was one part that I literally came out of my seat.
Oh yeah.
It came out of nowhere. The violence was very visceral, and the intensity stayed on like the whole time.
Yeah.
And I believe most of the skinheads, like the one guy at the beginning that they put the zipper on his stomach, like I believed 100% he was a skinhead.
Yeah.
Like he just had that. I mean, it was well done, well performed, well directed.
Patrick Stewart is the devil in it.
I'm gonna argue on that. Like, okay, so I saw all that. Oh, Patrick Stewart's awful. I've seen worse.
Right. I just meant that Like, he knew what was going to go on. Like, once he saw the gas can and the hose in the car, he's like, perfect.
Yes.
Like, he had a plan. He was, like I said, once he got that phone call, he's like, well, got to kill these kids and make it look like an accident. Like, he is completely, like, he is a vacuum of empathy in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
A complete sociopath. Like, there's no, like when his guys get killed or those dogs get killed, he doesn't care.
There's no emotion either way. He doesn't get up or down.
No.
It's like, I got a situation.
And they think that it's about, we saw this murder. Well, that has really nothing to do with it. It was because murder brings cops, and then they're manufacturing heroin in the basement, and then that's a whole other thing. But because he doesn't even care about the skinhead kids. They're just,
Well, he's paying them to stab each other.
Yeah, which is really clever. Playing the two guys that stab each other and one goes to prison.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'll pay you double.
Yeah.
What do you think, Doug?
Oh, I liked it. I liked it fine. It had some cool, gory, graphic-y violence in it. It's not start to finish violence.
No.
It's not like constant, but the way it's thrown in there is perfect.
The violence seems like it's within the tone of the movie.
Right, it's perfectly paced.
Yeah.
I love the pace of it.
And the violence doesn't seem like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. That's
Right.
kind of shit. Like, if
And
this
it's
happened,
quick. It's like,
very
oh
quick.
shit, damn. All right, and then on to something else.
Yeah, that's kind of like mine, where I almost came out of my seat. It was
Yeah.
like 1 minute he was talking, and then
Yeah.
bam.
Then his face was gone.
Anton Yelchin.
Yep.
Yelchin.
Yep.
This wasn't his last movie, but he passed away.
I think this was the last movie, like right after this came out, that he passed away.
Right.
So he came out in late 2016.
Yeah. He was good in it.
Yeah.
Like he was good in everything I ever saw him in.
Yeah.
I hate that he.
Yeah.
I hate that what happened to him happened.
Exactly.
But it's a cool movie. I would recommend it to anybody that likes a little violence mixed in with their, punk music and skinheads.
Right.
I mean, that's basically what it is.
Similar to the film I mentioned on our first episode, Brawl in Cell Block 99. Mm-hmm. There's just the film's very utilitarian.
Right.
There's nothing extra in the movie. Like, I love everything that's mentioned is paid off at the end. Like the guy. Like the doorman doesn't want the guy. Oh, I don't want that guy in there. It's because he knows there's something off about him.
Right.
And he doesn't know what it is. It's just gut instinct. And then later on you figure out that guy's he's collected evidence against the entire organization.
There's a reason for it.
And he's going to, turn on them.
Yep.
And it's like it's that template that you speak about a lot. It's that one night.
Yeah.
It's like it starts and then it's like, for them it's several hours. For us it's 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But it takes place in that one night. It's this one thing happening and then let's figure it out or end it or whatever.
It's like Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yep.
confined space.
One night.
Yep.
Yep.
I love movies like that.
Yep.
Mark?
I just wonder what bet Patrick Stewart lost to have to do that movie.
He said he did it because he's like, I would never. He's like, this is the only time I've ever been offered a role like this. He's like, it's the only time I've ever he's been offered to play villains before, but like action movie villains and stuff like that.
Like big.
He said, this guy is evil. He's just evil from everything.
So he actually wanted to do this movie.
He wanted to do it. Yeah,
Because he's so evil, and it is.
and
Because it's
so different.
It's such a detachment from what he's ever been associated
Yeah,
with.
he's like this beloved guy.
He's
like,
freaking Picard.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody loves him.
That's true.
Professor Xavier.
Yeah. I know, something that actually it has to do with Nazis. It just popped in my head though. Is Gregory Peck and the Boys from Brazil? Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
He plays Joseph Mengele, the actual Nazi mad scientist.
Yeah.
Kind of. It takes place in
Trying
Brazil
to get
and
away
Argentina.
from being Atticus. Huh?
Yeah, and he's not. He's the opposite of. He's a Nazi war criminal. In that,
Right.
He is. Gary Peg is evil as hell in that movie.
Well, Doug and I were talking about this. Like big villains in movies. There's guys like. Okay, so you would say one of the best villains ever in a film, Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, absolutely. But then there's Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards.
Right.
Who it can be is... Well, it's kind of like there's the dramatic superhero villain, but then there's the guy that you could be eating next to.
The everyday guy that's a real piece of shit.
Like, he's just an absolute...
I actually read I read something. I can't remember what it was from. It was talking about you come and tag across maybe 100,000 people in your life, like you meet, and they were talking about the amount of people who actually like you sit next to at a diner, a guy who's a serial killer. And you're next to him for 15 minutes. You never speak to him. Maybe you do. Maybe you ask him to pass the salt. And they said the amount of people who meet someone like that is that if you knew the actual number, you would be very frightened.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, yeah.
That's crazy.
You would not go out in public.
Exactly. But yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Because, I mean...
There's a psychopath around every bush.
Yeah, there you go. Seems like it nowadays. But one of my favorite villains is Hans Gruber from the original Die Hard.
Absolutely.
I think he's one of the best villains ever.
I just wants money, and he's ready to kill people for
Who
money.
played that part?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
That was his first movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Drainnnnage, Eli, you boy.
But is he the villain or is he the hero of the movie?
Depends on what perspective you're
I'm
looking
talking
at.
about perfectly sociopathic.
Right, yeah.
Daniel Plainview and There Will Be Blood.
Right.
That or Bill the Butcher, both played by Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
Probably two of my favorites. I've got tons of them. You want me to go through them?
Sure.
I'll tell you.
Run off
We'll ran them off. All right. My number one is Daniel Plainview, of course.
Right.
And then Hans Landa from, which is played by...
Christoph Waltz.
Thank you. For, in Inglourious Bastards. Anton Chigurh.
Oh, yeah.
No Country for Old Men.
Love that movie.
He's awesome.
I guess.
Really? I'm talking about
I don't
him.
remember. I've only seen the movie.
I'm talking about... Don't talk about... We're not talking about the movie. We're talking about...
Because I hated it.
Really? You didn't like that film?
I want to give it another go, but I don't remember one thing about it, so I can't say whether or not he's
Right.
I
think he's amazing in
bad
that
guy or whatever.
All right. Calvin Candy.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What a great villain. You know
I
who that is?
would actually say that he's not necessarily the villain in that movie. I would say Samuel L. Jackson is
The Puppet Master.
is definitely the
True.
He's the more evil of the two.
Well, I think that's a great story.
Candy's born into it and doesn't know any better.
He's just an imbecile who has no power.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever. I can't remember Samuel's character's name in that
I
movie.
can't either.
But he is absolutely despicable. He's a monster. He knows exactly what he's
I
doing.
love when he drops the cane at the end.
Yeah.
When he walks in the house and Jamie Foxx in there and he just... Because he was limping the entire
doesn't
movie.
need it.
He
He's
just
like-
he walks like he's like everything that guy does is an act.
Yeah, that was... He's,
And
he's
the
an evil
fact that
bastard.
Leonardo, during that table scene,
Oh, he sliced his hand up.
broke that glass and just kept going.
Yeah.
And, didn't finish that whole scene.
Yeah.
And his hand is completely mutilated. It's awesome.
Right.
Come on, Liz.
All right, list.
What about Le Chiffre in Casino
Oh, yeah.
Royale?
I love Mads
With the
Mikkelsen.
bleeding
Your
eye.
own list. This is my list. All right, how about Amon Goth? Ray Fiennes in Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Shooting out Nazis. Or shooting out Jewish people on the streets.
Yeah.
Really? You guys are... All right, here's one you're going to laugh at, but I thought was awesome. Detective Alonzo Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Training Day.
Yeah.
That's
He's a monster. In that
Oh, yeah.
one.
monster.
Yeah.
And he's normal. You'd see him every day.
Oh, yeah.
King Kong's got nothing on him, right?
That's true.
Well, that's kind of like,
If he didn't say that line, he would have gotten my Oscar vote. But
Yeah.
that line right there ruined the movie for me. I was like, King Kong's got nothing. What? Denzel just
He doesn't write his
ruined
own.
this
You
film.
understand that he doesn't write his
Just
own.
ruined this film.
No, it was just too much overexposure. But that line did not ruin that film, Garrick.
Another everyday villain, Gordon Gekko.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Douglas in Wall Street.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes. John Doe.
Yes.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Cuts Brad Pitt's wife's head off in 7.
Yeah. Well, I mean, never mind.
Oh, here's one you guys forgot. Max Cady.
Next,
Cape Fear. Robert De
Oh, yeah.
Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golly, really, where are we, guys?
Oh, this is your list.
Hannibal
Sorry, I
Lecter.
didn't know I needed a fucking list, man.
Norman Stansfield from Leon. Gary Oldman.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
remember when he
Oh,
comes in and he's like, he
Yeah.
does his thing.
Cracks up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter should have been way up that list.
Yeah.
He's up the list. He's on 10.
He had some fava beans at a nice Chianti.
Yeah, nice Chianti. Bill Cuddy, the butcher. We already talked about him. Frank Costello, the Departed.
Yeah.
Come on, he's a nut.
Come on, man.
King Edward the First from Braveheart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most evil king ever.
Oh, yeah.
The long shanks.
And then guess what? Guess who's on my
Bricktop.
team?
There we go.
Bricktop
Yeah.
from Snatch.
There you go.
That's my list of villains, everyday villains that you could probably, with the except I have the Joker on there.
Right.
What about Belloc?
Was he really
Raiders,
an
it's in
evil
your
guy?
favorite
I know,
movie.
But he wasn't really a villain. Like he didn't really do anything. I'm talking about guys that
I'm
would just.
coming with a list next week. I wish you would have pre-warned me about
I did. I sent you a script and it said
Villain list?
Yes, it said we're going through the number one
I
villains.
don't get the.
You can make a hero list
What?
for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a liar.
I'm not.
I'm not saying I would have had a better list, but we would have had some more things to talk about, for sure. Because, I mean, some of those guys that you said are definitely villains, but...
There it is.
Yeah.
Look, right here. And then it says, most memorable villains with Patrick Stewart turn as the chilling Darcy. What are other unforgettable roles as villains you remember? You're all fired.
I'm terrible, sorry.
Fired. Well, there's my list. So we'll just go over my list.
I'll say something that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
That is pretty... Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones is a fucking...
Oh, yes.
She is an absolute monster of a character, and the fact that she's female just makes it...
Have any of y'all watched the Fargo TV show?
I watched the first season.
The first 2 seasons are amazing.
The first season was killer.
It's always on my list, and I never do it.
Billy Bob Thornton
Yes.
is just he is awesome in the first season.
Yep.
And he's a guy, he just likes to murder people and likes to get paid for it.
Yeah.
And like when this guy, he meets Martin Freeman's character
Martin Freeman,
at
yeah.
the hospital, he just got his nose broken by this guy he went to high school with. And Billy Bob Thornton's like, you let him do that? You let him break your nose? Because he like kind of flinched. You gave him the flinch punch, and Martin Freeman spins around and hits a pane of glass and breaks his nose. So the guy didn't actually break his nose, but he caused it to happen. And he's like, I would have killed that guy right there in front of his kids. And things go completely pear-shaped. Martin Freeman ends up killing somebody sort of out of the built-up rage that's in him. And he calls Billy Bob Thornton. And Billy Bob Thornton, he's like a great white shark. He's just, and in the second season, there's a character called Hansi, a Native American character, who is actually in the first season as a completely different character.
The actor or whatever.
No, not an actor, just the characters in the first season.
Okay.
Because the first season is in 2006, the second season is in 1979.
Oh, okay.
And but they're like people from the first season are in the second season, but it's younger actors playing them. And the character of Hansi is just he's a Vietnam vet, and he's like this hitman for this lower level Minnesota crime family that deals with trucking, transporting drugs across state lines and stuff. And he is just. He's worse than Billy Bob Thornton is. Like he kills everybody in that show. And you realize
I have
that
not seen
he's
either
this
one of them. It's been on my list.
10th, he's like the 10th henchman down on the list. But you realize at the end of the season, he's had a plan this entire time. Like this sort of mob war that they're involved with. He was playing people against each other. The third season's okay. Ewan McGregor plays twins in it, twin brothers who are sort of pitted against each other. And it takes place in 2010.
So all these shows, this Fargo, it happens in Fargo.
North Dakota?
Someone finds the money in the first season. Someone finds the money from the movie where Steve Buscemi sticks it, the ice scraper ice. You see a flashback, and someone digs it up, and that's tied. That's really the only tie to the movie. And other than that, it's just sort of a self-contained universe.
And I thought,
Yeah.
and this is no shit, I was probably halfway through that first season.
Yeah.
I thought it was based on something factual.
Yeah.
And
No.
it's not at all. And that kind of took a little bit of it away from me because I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Like, how did this happen like this? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. But
Yeah.
kind of an idiot,
Yeah.
I mean, it happens,
But the first 2 seasons they're 2 of my favorite seasons of TV ever.
Cool.
I mean, I love it.
Really?
Yeah. And you know who's great in the second season? Bokeem Woodbine.
Oh,
was
yeah,
a
he's always good.
He plays a character named Mike Mulligan. He's this sort of mafia middleman.
Fargo.
Yeah, and
Put that down.
he's awesome in it. And I love that show. Like I said, the third season not quite as good, but it's it's more of a it's less crime driven.
is it still...
They are planning on doing a 4th season with
Okay.
Chris Rock as the main character, but yeah, that guy who created that show.
We don't understand, Chris Rock. Can't stop doing this. I love him, but he's got a hands thing,
Yeah.
for sure. I'll tell you, sitting here thinking about villains, a movie that we discussed a little bit several weeks ago, Platoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eliza dead.
Yeah. I
God, what was his name?
Tom Berenger's name?
Berenger's character is just...
Yeah.
He is...
Briggs? No.
I can't remember.
I can't either. But he is... He's in that kind of ilk of just somebody you could be around probably before he got there.
Yeah.
And at the point that he's at, when the movie starts, he's just a...
But the war made him that way.
Did it? It was always there,
I think it probably opened the door.
For you to do what he did
Yeah.
to Willem Dafoe, it's in you. It's always been in you.
Like, there are people like that, like...
There's triggers,
right,
sure.
yeah. But, he wasn't like a pastor and then get trapped and like that happened. No, there was something wrong with that guy from the beginning.
That movie is disturbing. Platoon.
It is.
Yeah. Like Casualties of War with Sean Penn. And the scene with Sean Penn where he's raping the
that's
girl.
terrifying.
And
he's another monster.
Michael J. Fox is fantastic in that. That was an underrated movie. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Where we at, Lane?
No, I was trying to look up Tom Berenger's name, but
his name in that I can't remember. But it's like Bullet or Briggs or
something like that. Barnes. Sergeant Barnes.
Barnes.
Yeah. Barnes. Yep.
My favorite Tom Berenger role was in The Big Chill.
Oh yeah, it's the actor. Yeah, basically playing Tom Selleck. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Big Chill was like the adult version of St. Elmo's Fire. Those came out around the same time, I guess.
That was a good
for
movie.
the older generation.
That thing I was want to talk about. The new movie. It's a movie, and it's about a villain, about a serial killer.
What new
It's
movie?
called The House That Jack Built.
Oh, yes!
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually played it in Charlotte for that one-night screen.
I want to see that film. You know what film we're talking
It's
about?
a Lars von Trier movie, who I actually don't like.
No, I hate him.
But I'm actually going to defend him right now because that movie came out. They did a one-night screening of the unrated, because apparently the unrated cut is just horrific. Matt Damon is this. I think it takes place in the 80s. He's a serial killer and he's building this house, and it's just about him murdering people. Like he's the guy. He's one of those serial killers.
Burying them under the planks of the house.
I don't even know, but it's like the BTK killer was just killing people for 20 years and nobody caught him. Yeah. He's just untouchable.
Just doing it.
Right. And they did a one-night screening, and I think it was like last month, and they played it in Charlotte. And now the MPAA is going to fine IFC Films because they said the one-night screening was too close to the rated theatrical cut. And they're going to sanction them like they're the fucking UN or something.
Really?
Yeah. They can eat a barrel full of dicks. That's bullshit.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, and they were like, well, what if, and the reason they gave was, what if an unsuspecting mother buys a ticket for that with her and her child? I'm like, you telling me that somebody's going to go, like some mom's going to take her 6-year-old to some serial killer movie at like 9 o'clock at night on a weekday?
Hey, some parents would.
Yeah. Well, fuck 'em.
Then you get what you get.
You get what you deserve.
It's bad parenting.
There's a little rectangle at the bottom of the poster
that
tells you the rating or the lack of rating. It tells you it has violence and blah blah blah, and that's it. There's whole sanctions. They're not a governing body.
No,
that's
bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Big time.
Yeah, and the MPAA. They're a bullshit organization. Now, granted, we're better than every other country, like Canada, England. The government rates their movies, and that is another type of bullshit. And like in Canada, you can't show unrated movies in a movie theater, like because they control the ratings. And at least we have a private organization doing it.
That's right.
And so that's true. Our situation is better.
But it's not a governing body.
They're going to sanction.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
suck it. I'm going to make what I want to make.
Exactly. And just the whole thing. And I don't like Lars von Trier. I think he's a fucking douchebag.
No, I tried to watch one of those not necrophilia, but
the one with Kristen Dunst.
Necrophilia is having sex with a dead body.
Yeah, that's not what it was called. It was
Nymphomania.
Nymphomania.
Yeah.
Sorry. And it's like 15 minutes, and I was like, I can't.
When Antichrist came out, he stood up at the Cannes Film Festival after the screening and screamed, "I am the greatest filmmaker in the world," and he was serious.
Hey, the Antichrist, is that the one with William Dafoe and that girl and there's lots of sex?
Oh yeah.
What films has he made that he can make this claim?
What's that movie he made with Nicole Kidman where it was like everything was like a stage set? Dogville? Dog.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Dogville.
Dogville.
That was his claim to fame.
Yeah, and he's made a bunch of he kind of goes
something
he
else.
kind of goes between like violent horror films and art house films. He kind of jumps back and forth.
Yeah.
And and it's not like necessarily the films. I mean, I don't like his films, but there are a lot of films. I just don't like him as a person.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Like when I'll give you an example. Like 10 years ago, he always thought his family was Jewish. And this is what got him banned from the Cannes Film Festival for like 10 years. And then you find out that his mother, he was actually fathered by this German guy his mom had an affair with. And he made some statement at the Cannes Film Festival like now that he knows he's German, he can understand how Hitler felt in the bunker in like the last days. And just shit just to get under people's skin. He's just a fucking douchebag. And they banned him for life, but then when this movie came out, they retracted it. Because, they're French. And anyway... But I don't like the guy. I don't particularly like his movies.
But still.
But fuck you for that sanction shit. You know. As long as the violence isn't real, as long as it's corn syrup and red food dye, and nobody's really getting hurt, mind your fucking business.
Right.
There's...
Amen to that. Amen to that.
If you don't want to go see it, just don't go see it.
It doesn't need a rating.
No.
It just needs to say, hey, this movie's got rape, nudity, violence on it.
Or just, everybody...
Don't bring your kids.
The degree of that, we're not saying.
Yeah. Hey, you do the math.
Right.
It's got gory violence, rape scenes,
and it's not
sexual
and it's not the 80s where you had to go buy a paper and look at what movies are playing. You can just literally Google it. Everybody has a small computer in their pocket.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like the old days.
There's a documentary called This Film Is Not Yet Rated about the MPAA that's really good. And they suck.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is
hell with
wrong.
that.
That's
fuck
really
them.
wrong. Like,
Yeah.
no, can't do that. Yeah, watch me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen enough.
Now, had they switched had they like secretly snuck in the unrated cuts in the theater,
That would
and
be
passed
different.
it off as R-rated? That's different. That is their rules, and that's against those rules.
But basically, they're saying, well, we watched this one, we watched that one, we rated this one, but we didn't see this one before we saw that one, and now, in retrospect, we think that this one is too close to that one, so we're going to fine you or whatever. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They fucked up somewhere, and they're trying to, like, clean up their mess, and that's
Right.
not right.
Well, I won't see that movie anyway.
I mean, watch it. Yeah, it might be good. I'm not saying it isn't.
Well, we may. Never say no.
Hey, the Antichrist is actually in the queue to watch.
Yeah, it's on Shudder, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it's
Speaking of
fan-
Shudder,
Who is the Antichrist?
oh no, it's just a very
It's not. It's about like the death of a child. It's more about Antichristness as a.
like the
it's hard to
parents are
explain.
having sex in the shower, and their son, their son falls out of the apartment building and dies, and then she's gone. Like mom loses her mind, and so they move out to the country, right?
Yeah.
And
If you ever want to see Willem Dafoe's dick, this is the movie.
I do
for you.
not.
It's everywhere.
It's probably not the movie for you because he's all kinds of naked in it. If you ever want to see Elias naked, then that's the movie for you. Every time someone mentions Platoon, I just instinctively go, Elias is dead.
Elias is dead.
Even if they're not talking to me.
hey, speaking of Shudder, though, guess what else is on Shudder?
Mandy.
Mandy is now officially streaming on Shudder, and they're doing Stephen King's month on Shudder.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 Stephen King movies.
Yep, you can see Misery, Pet Cemetery, both Creep Shows, Silver Bullet, Cujo, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Dead Zone, and one of Lee's favorites, Salem's Lot.
Here we go.
Have you caught The Last Drive-In yet? With Joe Bob Briggs?
No, not yet.
It's
I want
pretty
to.
good.
Yeah, I love. They said that AMC owns Shudder, and they also own the Sundance Channel, I think it was. And during the last drive-in, the first one they did like 2 months ago, they actually shut down the servers for the entire site, and also collapsed some of the Sundance Channel's servers. Joe Bob's like, well, at least I stopped people from watching terrible independent movies for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, some of the movies that he's got are not, they are what they are. But if you just fast forward, like just listen to him
talk about it,
and then when the movie comes on, fast forward to the next time he shows up. It's kind of like Elvira.
Yeah.
It's great though. I love it.
I used to watch him on TV when I was a kid.
You got a video?
I do. I actually picked a comedy this week. Because, when I think about the show, I think about like what movies they used to show at the drive-in. Back when drive-ins basically showed lower budget movies. And one of the big movies was movies like Caddyshack, Animal House. Those were the type of movie, one of the comedies that we used to go see there. Porky's.
Oh yeah.
Stuff you didn't want your parents to know you were supposed to see.
I saw Porky's. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Same director as Rhinestone, Porky's. Anyway.
Was it?
Yeah, Barb Clark.
Full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Once again.
Anyway, there's a movie called Action Point with Johnny Knoxville. And it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it has that sort of feeling. And it's based on a true story. There was this theme park, and I think in Michigan, and it was basically like there's no safety regulations. I think it was operational through like the mid '80s, and it got bought by a bigger theme park. And it was just they had like little tanks that shot tennis balls. Like they had like a slip and slide that was sort of handmade, like a water slide that was handmade. Zip lines that were sort of just hammered to trees and stuff. And you can get hurt, but you also have a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a lawsuit.
Yeah,
waiting
that's actually what got the place closed down. Was in the 80s, people started suing more. And, back in the 70s, they were just like, here's a free beer. You're fine. Yeah. Just get up. And Johnny Knoxville Johnny Knoxville actually went there as a kid. I think it's called Action Point in the movie. It was called something else in real life. And there's a guy there who doesn't work there. He's just this big drunk guy. He just shows up every day to start fights. And when they... And it's like extremely... And now comedy movies have gotten sort of, I don't say soft, but... There are no comedies that your mom hates anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, they're like... I guess The Hangover was probably the last one.
Edgy comedy.
Edgy, and but it has a lot of heart to it too. Like the park there, they run a lot of like runaways and kids, sort of punk rock kids work there, and he lets them live there for free. And it's just like a family. And he's just a terrible businessman. He just barely holds the thing together year in, year out. And it's about sort of the corporate culture in the '80s coming and basically closing in on them. I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again.
Action Point. Yeah. Action Point.
Yeah.
Okay, is that on any of the things? Do you know?
You can rent it on. You can rent it on. It's on Amazon or.
Oh, it's not free. You can't get free. Somewhere?
I don't think so.
Of course, not.
It just came out this year.
Give us any free movies.
Damn it, Lee.
I'm sorry.
Everyone you say is like,
dig it up. Good luck. It's going to cost you.
Yeah, it's going to cost you
every time.
Yep, every time.
It's going to be $300 on Amazon or something.
No, this is a new movie. Like you can rent it. I mean,
well, so from when?
It came out in like June, I think.
Oh, it's that.
Yeah, it's a new movie.
When you say Johnny Knoxville, I'm like, who? The guy from Jackass?
Yeah,
I'm thinking
it's a very Jackass type movie. Like all the stunts are. There's a thing where they were trying to make a catapult ride, and he gets shot through a barn, and it is 100% real. Like you can tell his shins go through this wood. Like it looks extremely painful. Because all the things they did in the 70s were real. So they wanted to do them like the water slide that was sort of put up with 2x4s. They wanted to do.
You get hurt. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
You signed up for this.
And,
deal with it.
He got hurt. You could tell he got hurt a lot.
So Tom Cruise breaking his foot in Mission Impossible was nothing compared to that.
I rewatched that. I freeze frames. Oh, yeah, you see his foot just go. Yeah.
I left that out. I actually.
What did you think of Mission Impossible?
I dug it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, man.
Yeah.
When it went from story to like extreme action scene, it was extreme action scene. Like your adrenaline's pumping. Like I'm sitting in my seat, like, oh shit! Like I'm about to fall out this helicopter too. Like,
I was reading something the other day, and they were like, when he gets killed making one of these, we're all culpable. Like we all drove him to do this. Yeah. Like he wanted to entertain us.
But I like the story. I thought it was cool. I mean, it like the more recent ones. Like I like the first one. I think the second one, third one.
Second one is garbage.
Wasn't that
John Woo directed that?
Yeah. I knew that.
And that is unfortunate.
But like the last,
I like the last three.
The last three I really enjoyed with Simon Pegg. He's funny and witty, but plays this role and the way they kind of tied a lot of the stuff together. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I don't think it'll be the last one.
No, there'll be no.
It's probably Cruise's last one. You think?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, he'll do another one.
Doesn't he own it? Like, didn't he buy like the rights?
He might actually own the property.
I think that he
Yeah.
He bought the rights to it to where it's like it's either him or it's no.
Tom Cruise is my age. I don't foresee him doing another one.
If he, I don't know. He's, you know,
he looked. You know what was weird, and I. At the end of that movie, I said, you know what? When I watched The Mummy, I thought he looked old and weird.
Right.
But in this, he looks like
amazing.
He looks like Tom Cruise. Like what they do?
They pumped him full of that orphan blood they have.
Scientology blood.
Yeah. They hooked him up to that machine they used to change Keith Richards' blood with in the 70s.
I just thought it was weird because I definitely there was a point in The Mummy I was like, his face looks weird. Yeah. Like it's not just me, right?
Right. No,
I'm talking to people about it, but this he just looks like Tom Cruise.
What happened was he got
CGI.
He got work done because he showed up at a Scientology. There was a thing on the internet, and he was real swollen.
It was on the internet, so it must be true, right?
Well, no, it was just him at a function where he had
looked
just
swollen.
It was, So basically, it had some work done.
He's the number 2 guy in that religion. Like he's he basically has his own religion,
pretty much.
Which I'm sure it's terrible, but I've heard
he's second only to
David
Miscavige.
Yeah, whose wife has not been seen in like 15 years.
Well, and see, I think it's disturbing and cool that Cruise is like, I can do my own stunts and I can make these cool movies because of this.
Yeah,
it's insane,
right?
But keep going,
exactly,
because I'm going to keep watching.
Praise Zeno and pass the popcorn. I just want to see him jump and
there
could literally be a movie just called Tom Cruise doing stunts. And I'm there with my money in my hand, going, I want one for every showing of the day, please.
Yeah, like we said the other week, man, he may be batshit, but who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
We're putting out good movies.
Hey, we're not his daughter or one of his ex-wives.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't give a shit.
Did you hear where him and James Cameron at one point they talked about shooting a movie in space?
What?
Not a movie about space, like going into space and shooting a movie.
They talked about it, I guess, in a bar over a few
somebody
beers.
was like, that's insane, we can't do that. But, at one point, those two massive egos are like...
Not even if you guys pay for it.
Yeah,
we can't do
it's
that.
like, well, let me generate a little bit more money.
It's like...
How are we going to get
the 2 biggest egos in the world, just like, we can do this.
They'll just get Richard Branson to pay for it.
There you go.
Because he's got the rocket ship, I think.
Mr. Cameron, we forgot the HDMI cable.
Send a rocket back down to Earth.
Sorry, what?
Shit, we're in space. There's no electricity.
The battery charger is in Florida. We left it. It was in that one bag. It said battery charger. I'm not sure I got this.
There's like a piece of grip tape on that says "Do not forget." It's just sitting on a desk somewhere.
Send a space shuttle down to pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's insane. But damn, I would watch that movie.
I'd be on that crew, man. I'd be on that crew for sure.
Yeah.
Well, but my Bathwater Showdown, man, it didn't get viewed very much, but we did get a winner. Karen
Allen.
Absolutely. Karen Allen won it, hands down. I think there was only one, amazingly enough, Doug, there was only one vote for Billy. That's fine.
I voted for number 3.
Yeah.
Allison Duty.
Yeah, she was hot.
Yeah. And I think all around, like, beauty-wise, it would be Allison. It would be Allison, but, Marion just had much more.
Oh, yeah, the character, absolutely.
So, but anyway, this week is going to be a little bit different. They normally pertain to whatever we're talking about.
So this week will be toilet water, right?
Yeah, no. Well, it's no. I had a lot. I named off a lot of villains, but I didn't get into the girls, and there were plenty of really good girl villains. So I've got one coming up. It's this week's Bathwater Showdown is none other than Juliette Lewis as Mallory Knox in Natural Born Killers against the sweet salt prostitute Alabama Worley from True Romance.
Alabama in a fucking wonk.
Really?
Oh, dude, when she kills James Gandolfini? That's fucking awesome.
Doesn't get no more sexy than that, does it?
I don't know. Juliette Lewis smashing that dude's face down in the cafeteria, man. Really?
Nah.
Man, there's something about Juliette Lewis. I don't care.
She'll have some of that key lime pie, a glass of milk.
Nah, I go Alabama.
All right, well there you go. The poll will be up on Facebook. Bathwater Showdown this week. Juliette Lewis as Mallory Knox, or Patricia Arquette as Alabama Worley.
That's some
Alabama's
good
the greatest
Bathwater.
wife in movie history.
What?
She's do what she does for Christian Slater in that movie.
Yeah.
That's a ride or die bitch right there.
Yep. Prop them up against gangsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
She kills everybody.
I love you. You're cool, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You are cooler than cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Would
fuck
your wife
it. I can do this. And he does.
Would your wife? Would your wife kill several federal agents for you? Fuck no.
She wouldn't kill bugs for him. Much less.
She'd turn you in at a heartbeat.
Yeah.
She'd be like,
Sorry.
She won't remove the pins out of my pants before she washes them. She says that's my job. So instead I'll put on my clothes and there'll be big ink spots. And I'm like, this is 7 years in. I'm like, seriously? She looks at me and goes, get them out. I'm like, are you kidding me? She's like, get them out.
you find a suitcase full of cocaine, you're on your fucking own.
Yeah, don't let her know about it.
Yeah.
Don't say a word.
Yeah. I love True Romance. That's Tony Scott's masterpiece.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Gary Oldman.
Been long enough for me. I've put it off for several years. It's one that I want to get back to soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well, that's it for this week. Another great week, another good movie. We're still on a roll.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten any stinkers.
I regret saying the ride or die bitch. I should have said that. Anyway, go ahead.
It's fine.
It's perfectly fine. I have just one announcement. Golden Ticket this week. They've got Wreck-It Ralph 2. Which is very good. I went and saw it. Very good. Not as good as the first one,
right,
but pretty good. And Creed 2, which is apparently getting a lot of good reviews.
I want to see it. Yeah,
really?
Like the first one.
I think I'm done with Rocky. I love Rocky. I watched them all, and I watched Creed and it was good. But it's a Rocky movie. Like, I'm kind of done with it.
I got to see him fight Ivan Drago's son.
Stallone has all but said that he's done with Rocky after this last one.
It's got Dolph.
I think people are kind of done with boxing. Is the problem? It's MMA has ruined boxing.
Yeah,
and nobody gives a shit anymore. I mean, when I was 20 years ago, man, that was
Mike
the
Tyson,
thing. It was like
anytime
there was a big fight, it was like, we're coming over to such and such's house. We're going to get together and watch it, and we did.
Oh yeah.
Stallone thought that Rocky was over after Rocky Balboa, and so when they came to him with this one, he was like, oh, okay, it's a good script. So, but
I like the first one a lot. First Creed.
Well, he got didn't he get nominated for best supporting actor?
Yeah, he was really good.
Still have not seen it.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Creed?
Nope.
They're like Mission Impossible movies. I'll watch Rocky movies forever. I'm not gonna lie. You know,
so it's kind of like Halloween.
Exactly. I'm gonna see it. I'm not gonna see. Probably won't see it in the theater. But if I see it on Redbox, it's $1.75.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
Yeah, this one looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, Golden Ticket has that, and on the 22nd, come out 4 p.m. for the Aquaman preview. Or for the premiere, and meet Aquaman. There'll be a meet and greet with the Ultimate Experience. These guys, man, they work hard. They go to parties and go to Comic-Cons and everywhere, and make a lot of kids happy. Good.
I have one. Are you done with the announcements?
Yeah, go ahead. Interrupt me one more time.
Okay.
Do it.
I mean, be more interesting. Anyway,
Drainnnnnage!
No, go ahead.
Drainnnage! I'll tell you what. This is my milkshake, and that's your milkshake, Lee. And I can go all the way over there with my straw, and I suck your milkshake.
I drink it up.
Drink it up.
Nazi punks. Okay,
sorry.
No, I just heard about this new streaming system, and it's free. And it isn't everywhere yet. It's just getting started. It's called Canopy, but it's spelled with a K. And if you at certain
You're
cities,
just an afterbirth. You slithered out of your mother's filth. They should have put you in a jar. Put you on the mantle.
Anyway, what were you saying, Lee?
it's a streaming. It's a free streaming service for basically for students and young people. But anyway, if you have a credit card, library card. And if your library is associated with Canopy, you can watch these movies free. It has the Criterion Collection on it. The production company that released Which is it? They're putting their entire filmography on A24.
Right.
So
it has 48 Hours on it. It has a bunch of old samurai movies, and
you just have to have a library card.
Right, and it's spreading. They're just getting started, so they're not they're
not
everywhere. But that basically is what it's made for: is students and kids, so they can just watch movies. They have it on Roku, on Apple TV, on.
I mean, you can go to the library with your card and rent.
Right.
Movies
It's basically what it
free,
is.
but it's like
it's the visual. It's basically the Netflix of that, and it's called Canopy, but it's just spelled with a K instead of a C. And it's just getting started. But I thought that was awesome. It's got like old spaghetti westerns and stuff, and
Or do you have it?
No, there's no library around here that supports it.
Oh, you gotta have the library that has to support
it has to be a number from your library card. And once they're part of it, you can just go online and watch these movies.
We're in North
that's
Carolina,
cool.
so our libraries are way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, homeless people got to pee somewhere.
Yeah.
Drain it!
But yeah, I just thought that was something cool to mention.
All right, yeah, that's great. Maybe Hickory may get that.
Yeah.
Shelby.
Nah, I don't know.
Let's see if Charlotte
Forest
gets
City.
it first.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlotte probably get it. Well, that sounds cool. Well, that's it for this week on Midnight Drive-In. We will see you next week when I drink these boys' milkshake again.
You are disgusting, and I wouldn't brag about it.
Drainnnnage. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Drive-In. Good podcast. It's a good podcast. Your sponsors are Table Rock Creative Group. Good bunch of guys. The Table Rock Creative Group. And if you need video marketing of any kind, you call them. They can help you out. The Golden Ticket Cinemas, reclining seats, reserved seats, and $5 movies. Monday through Friday, and just the feel of the old small town neighborhood Cineplex that you grew up in. And finally, The Spot. Toys, DVDs, collectibles. If they don't have it, they will find it. And thank you very much to the Angry Samoans for lending us the song for this week's podcast. That's right, they're called the Angry Samoans.